Hello my friends, it's Gabriel with the Last Huntsman channel here, and I often get asked, by people that's just getting started or in comments or whatever of, hey, I'm on a budget, I need a knife for my get home bag, bug out bag, whatever you want to call it, or just a knife to get started out in bushcraft or whatever. And many channels, I've seen it time and time again, will suggest the Mora or something like that for a starter knife. And while I don't think it's a bad knife, I personally don't like the Moras all that much, and I can go into that later. But that being said, I think a much better deal for the money is, I think, the Cold Steel SRK is the best knife for the money. Let's check it out. Alright folks, let's talk about the Cold Steel SRK. I have 3 different examples here. And the reason why I have 3 of them, actually this one's my wife's, but the reason why I have 3 of them though is because it's a solid knife. I actually legit trust these knives. I like them and such, but the Cold Steel SRK has been in their lineup for a long time. It's went through different renditions. I remember it being in OS 8, I think, even at one point. It's come out in multiple different steels, which we'll get into that. And even recently, they came out with even the SRK-C or Compact, which, if you want something a little bit smaller, it's there. Even these C's are coming out in different colored handles, which is pretty cool. But now let's just kind of go into some basic specs. It's roughly a 6-inch blade. It's a saber grind. Now this one here has just the slightest hollow grind on it, actually, but it's so minute that I still just call it a saber grind. It's a full tang knife that's just encased in rubberized handles and tang like literally goes all the way down here. It's just kind of covered up by rubber and such. I do like these kind of rubberized handles. Now they do kind of have their own issues, but as long as you're careful with them, they're fine. Now that being said, I know a lot of people will really hype up the Moras, but they have nowhere near the beefy tang that this has, and they have a plastic handle that has worse issues than even these do. These two are in SK5 steel. So SK5, from my understanding, it's fairly similar to like 1085. So I like it. It's a very durable steel. Well, you might have to sharpen it here and there, but I'd rather have something that I know ain't gonna like shatter on me or whatever. And something else that is really nice about the Cold Steel SRKs is the sheath that comes with them. The Cold Steel Secure X sheaths are actually really nice. They lock in. It's not coming out. I don't mind the belt attachment method that comes with it, just because you can put it on your belt without having to take your belt off, which that's a big plus always. And even occasionally you can find the Cold Steel SRK in CPM 3V, which is always a really neat option to find that. Usually they sell out pretty quick. Alright, so it's cold as shit out here. I'm going to be batoning the Cold Steel SRK and Cold Steel Recon Tanto. We're going to test them both out. Now I will say something right off the bat that's pretty nice is with it being cold out, grabbing onto a knife handle actually can be kind of cold on your hands after a while, especially if you don't got real thick gloves on. Like holding on to something with micarta handle scales actually can kind of get cold, but these kind of rubberized, I think it's like Zytel or whatever, I'll try to annotate it. It handles, they're actually fairly cushy to the touch, so like they don't really like freeze your hands. But we're gonna do some batoning with the Cold Steel SRK here. Now it has a slight hollow grind to it, but it's very slight, so I'm not real worried about it. You may hear in the background that I got a fire going already. But it's cold out here, so. Now I will note, I haven't done a lot of batoning with this. I've batoned it a few times, but you could already see that coating starting to wear off, which to me that's kind of whatever. Like, you know, I'm not really a big coating type of guy anyways, and I think it just looks cool once you start getting a knife with coating and all that stuff wearing off. Alright, so a task I'm going to do with the Cold Steel SRK here, and you know, I'm bouncing between 3 different knives because I'm going to review them all in just this one review here. I got the SK5 version here. I'm going to just do a little bit more batoning just to kind of show you guys. I'm not real worried about the fact that this has a slight hollow grind because it's held up pretty good for me. Cold Steel SRK and CPM 3V, pretty solid knotty chunk of cedar. We'll see if we can get through it. Alright, so been testing out the Cold Steel SRK knives. I got the Compact here, so I'm gonna just do some feather sticks with it. Kind of see what kind of curls I can get. Right on a knot first thing first. This probably ain't the best piece to try to do feather sticks with all these knots in there, but I'll try to make it work. Of the 3 Cold Steel SRK knives that I have, which I think, you know, like I said, I think is one of the best value for the money knives that you can get. But of the 3, the one in CPM 3V is the only one with a sharp 90-degree spine. Let's test this out here. See if I can get a little fire going. Everything's kind of wet here. There we go. Alright, so why do I suggest the Cold Steel SRK over, like, say, a Mora or some other knives? Like, in my opinion, these are the best knives that you can get for under, most of these are under 50 bucks, and a lot of, even like the CPM3 V1 is like right at 100 bucks, which that's actually an amazing deal for CPM3 V knife. But that being said, these are much more robust of a knife than, say, like a Mora that's like, 15 bucks or something like that. And I personally don't like Scandi grinds. You guys probably know that over the years of watching me. I think Scandi grinds are great for making fiddlesticks. I don't think, and bushcrafting, but if you're wanting just like a survival knife, you're not out here just crafting bushes. So, that being said, this knife obviously is much more capable, and I think when I got this one, I got it on sale at Midway for like 35 bucks, which for an SK5 steel knife that's, a 6-inch full tang survival knife, that's actually with a actually pretty decent sheath, that's an amazing deal, in my opinion. Now, I think most of them, you can find them for, 40 to 50 bucks or so, depending on where, but still, that's an amazing deal. I like to have a few of these just, as backups, if anything. Alright, so another task I'm going to do, I'm going to use the SRKC here. I'm going to do just a little bit of notch making. Got me a little square notch there. Let's try and make a tent stake type of notch. And there we go. Little Cold Steel SRKC. Alright, so one reason why I suggest the Cold Steel SRK is, obviously it's going to be a decent, size survival knife. It's not going to be your main, fiddlestick knife for crafting bushes and stuff. But I also feel that if you're wanting a knife for like potential survival, one thing that a knife should always be good for, I'm going to pull out my CPM3V version here, but one thing that a knife should always be good for is not only should it be a tool, but it should also be a self-defense option. And with the Cold Steel SRK, as you can see, it has good handle ergonomics. Like I could do like the Ninja Death Grip. You can get a good sense of direction for the edge, but it also has a really deep guard on there that allows it to, your hands not slipping forward. So we can do a little bit of combatives real quick, because I always think a knife should be a potential self-defense tool if need be. Very fast in hand. Let's do some stabbing task. Oh yeah, this thing stabs really well. Now, something I'm probably not going to do, and this is just being cognitive of your tool here, is I'm not going to do so much of the attitude readjustment like I do with a lot of things, because this don't have a protruding pommel. If the pommel came out the bottom, kind of like a Falkneven, then yeah, I would probably do that. But considering that this one don't have an exposed tang on the bottom here, I'm not going to do that, because I don't want to like wear out the rubberized handle any more than I have to. But I mean, if it was on a soft squishy target, yeah, it'd do the trick all day long. Alright, so another task I'm going to do with the Cold Steel SRK is I'm going to just do some delimbing here. So I'm going to use the basic SK5 version for my host here. As you can see, works pretty good at basic chopping tasks. Alright, so another test I'm going to try, and I'm going to use the CPM version here as my representative. Now, something to take note with the CPM version real quick is the SK5 version has just like this slightest hint of a hollow grind to it. This one doesn't. Like, it doesn't have it at all. So that's a little side note. I'm going to just do a little chopping test here. And, you know, this is a 6-inch blade. It's a fairly narrow blade from spine to edge. So it's not going to be some heavy duty chopper, but you get a little bit of 3 fingers on here and still do some work with it. There's about a inch wide sapling here. It's in the way of my trail. And there we go. Well, my friends, I've been showing you all the Cold Steel SRK, and I'll stand by it that I think this is probably the best knife for the money, or even if you already have like something really high-end and nice that you just want a backup knife or whatever. I still think these are great, whether it's just a basic SK5 version or the compact version, if that's more of your flavor, or even if you want to try to find one, if you can, the CPM 3V version too. All of them are great. Get out there, be prepared both physically and spiritually. God bless, and carry on.